My name is Mandy, and I am 23 years old. I recently finished my time at university. I felt very happy and very lucky to get this job. It is a large marketing company located in the center of the big city. This is my first real job after finishing school. I had many hopes for this new start. The company is located in a very modern building. It is extremely tall and covered completely in shining glass. When I walked inside, I saw many people moving quickly. They all wore professional business suits. The air felt cold and formal. I found my desk on the first morning. I sat down in my new chair and looked around the large open office. I felt very small in this big, busy environment. Everything felt too big and too fast. I watched the other workers. I knew that I was very lucky to have this position. This job was a big opportunity for my future career. I wanted to work hard and learn everything quickly. The man who runs the entire company is the CEO. His name is Archie. He is the main boss of everyone here. Archie is 55 years old. He has short silver hair. He always looks very professional. He wears expensive blue suits every day. Many of the other employees seemed afraid of him. They spoke in quiet voices when he walked past their desks. However, Archie acted differently toward me. It was my first day, and he walked across the large office floor. He stopped right next to my small desk. I looked up at him quickly. He stood there for a moment and gave me a long, friendly smile. "Welcome to the company, Mandy," he said clearly. His voice was deep, and it sounded very warm. I was surprised by this direct attention. I did not think the CEO would even notice a new employee like me. I immediately felt shy. My face became very hot, and I could feel myself turning red. I looked down at my new shoes because I was too embarrassed to look into his eyes again. His welcome was unexpectedly warm. It made me feel important and lucky to be there, even though I felt small in the huge glass building. I thought that this job would be a wonderful new chapter. 2. The special attention. The warm welcome from Archie quickly turned into something else. He started to give me special attention that felt too heavy and confusing. He was the CEO, and he acted like he owned the whole building and all the people inside it. Archie came to my desk many times every day. Sometimes he visited 4 or 5 times before the lunch break even started. He did not treat me like a new worker who needed help with simple tasks. He would ask, "How is your work going?" But he did not really care about the professional answer. He always looked at my face. He looked directly at my eyes and my lips instead of looking at my computer screen or the papers on my desk that showed my effort. This intense focus made me feel very strange and extremely uncomfortable. I tried hard to focus on my important projects, but it was difficult when the CEO stood so close to my chair. Archie also started to control my schedule completely. He always wanted me to be in the same large room as him or very near his private office. If I went to the small kitchen to get coffee, he would often appear suddenly and ask what I was doing. If I had a meeting with another team, he wanted to know all the small details about the topic. I felt like I could not make a single move without him knowing exactly where I was going. The other employees in the large, busy office quickly noticed this special treatment. They clearly saw the CEO's heavy attention on the new young girl. When I walked past their desks or into the main hallway, they often stopped their conversations immediately. I heard them whisper my name sometimes, and I knew they were talking about me and Archie's strange behavior. This situation made me feel deeply embarrassed and intensely confused. I wanted to be a successful employee and focus only on my professional duties. But the constant whispering made me feel like I was involved in a secret, wrong action. His attention felt like a private game that I did not ask to play. I was afraid to speak up and tell him to stop because I worried that I would immediately lose my new important job and my future career. 3. The Friday Invitation. It was Friday. The workday was almost finished, and Mandy felt happy because the weekend was starting. She was ready to go home. Then Archie's assistant called her desk phone. "Mr. Archie wants to see you in his office now," the assistant said. Mandy stood up quickly. Her heart started to beat fast. She walked across the floor to the CEO's large office. Archie was standing when she arrived. He told her to close the door behind her. The room became quiet immediately. It was a very big office, but Mandy felt nervous just standing there with him. The air smelled strong, like expensive men's cologne or perfume. Archie looked at Mandy and smiled a little. "Mandy," he said, using her name in a soft voice. "I have a very important business dinner this evening. I want you to come with me tonight." Mandy felt surprised by the sudden invitation. It was already late on Friday. She hesitated for a moment. She looked at Archie's face, trying to understand his meaning. "Is this dinner necessary for my job?" she asked him carefully. She wanted to know if she could say no. Archie moved his head up and down. He nodded. "Yes, of course," he replied. "It is important for the company. It is a business event." He paused, looking at her clothes. "But please wear something very nice tonight," he added. Mandy felt a great fear in her stomach. She did not want to go out with Archie. She wanted to go home and rest after a long week. She wanted to say no thank you, but Archie was the powerful CEO. Mandy was only 23 years old, and this was her first real job. She worried about her future. If she said no, maybe Archie would be angry and fire her. She could not risk losing this new job. The fear of losing her job was stronger than her wish to stay home. She felt she had to agree. She took a deep breath to calm herself. She looked at Archie and tried to make her face look happy. Her smile felt fake. She spoke slowly and carefully. "Okay, Archie. I will come to the dinner tonight." Archie looked very pleased when she accepted his invitation. He quickly told her the time and the place where they would meet. It was a very expensive restaurant downtown. Mandy left the office quickly and walked back to her small desk. She sat down, but she could not focus on her computer screen anymore. She only thought about the dinner. Why did Archie need her at a business dinner on a Friday night? Her normal job was marketing, not attending special CEO dinners. She felt nervous and confused again. His heavy attention was becoming a heavy burden. She felt trapped by his demand. She packed her bag slowly. She needed to go home and change her clothes, just as Archie requested. She hoped the dinner would be short. She tried to tell herself that everything was fine, but her stomach still hurt. She knew that this Friday night would be very different from all the other Friday nights in her life. 4. Dinner and a gift. Archie and I went to dinner. It was a very fancy Italian restaurant in the city center. The room had soft, low lights. The atmosphere felt special and expensive. We sat down at a small table near the corner. A waiter poured us red wine. I waited for Archie to talk about work. I thought this was an important business dinner. I tried to prepare my answers. But Archie did not talk about business at all. He only talked about me. He asked me many personal questions about my life and my university studies. He smiled too much. I felt very uncomfortable, but I tried hard to smile back. The noise in the restaurant was loud, but I only heard Archie's voice. Then Archie reached into the inner pocket of his blue suit. He took out a small box. The box was black and made of soft velvet material. He pushed the box toward me across the white tablecloth. "This is for you, Mandy," he said quietly. I opened the box slowly. Inside, there was a beautiful gold bracelet. It shone under the low light. It looked incredibly expensive. I knew I could not afford anything like it. "It is a bonus," he told me, as if it was normal. I was completely shocked by the gift. I shook my head quickly. I pushed the box back towards him. "I cannot take this, Archie," I insisted. "I just started my job last week. This is too much." He laughed softly at my reaction. He reached across the table and gently touched my hand. His hand felt unexpectedly warm against mine. He did not let go. Archie looked directly into my eyes for a long time. His expression was serious now. "I want to give it to you," he insisted. "I have wanted you from the first moment I saw you in the office." I stopped breathing for a second. The wine glass felt heavy in my hand. He continued speaking in a low voice. "You are fresh and beautiful, Mandy. I want you to have it." My heart started to beat very fast in my chest. I understood clearly now. This was not a business dinner at all. This was something else entirely. I felt a sudden, strange mix of feelings. Part of me was very afraid of his power and what he meant by his words. But another small part of me felt a little bit excited by his strong attention. I had never known someone so rich and powerful felt this way about me. I did not know what to say or what to do next. I just looked down at the bright gold bracelet resting on the table between us. 5. The apartment. Archie stood up after we finished eating dinner. He looked at me with a serious face. "Come with me now," he said. "We must go to my apartment." I froze in my seat. My heart felt very heavy in my chest. "Why?" I asked him quietly. He smiled, but the smile did not reach his eyes. It was a cold smile. "All the new girls must pass this exam," he said softly. "It is necessary if you want to stay in my company." I understood his meaning immediately. My blood turned very cold. This was not a business meeting. This was a trap. I felt great fear, and I did not know what to do next. I felt completely trapped by his power and the expensive dinner. I thought about saying no, but the words did not come out. I felt unable to move. I slowly got into his large, dark car. The car drove quickly through the city streets. Soon, we arrived at a very tall building. We went up many floors in a silent elevator. When the door opened, we were inside his home. His apartment was very large and full of expensive things. There were soft brown leather sofas and big windows that showed the city lights. Soft music was playing quietly. Everything looked perfect, like a picture in a magazine. But the apartment felt empty. It did not feel like a home. It had no warmth. It felt cold and silent, even with the music. I stood in the middle of the room. I felt very small again, just like I felt on my first day at work. I looked around the room. I felt like a small bird that was caught in a big, beautiful cage. I wanted to fly away, but the windows were closed. Archie walked closer to me. He took off his expensive blue jacket and placed it on a chair. He did not look like my boss anymore. He moved very close. I could smell his cologne again. He put his hands on my shoulders. His touch felt heavy and unwelcome. I kept my eyes on the floor. I knew that the real test, the exam he talked about, was starting right now. I prepared myself to tell him to stop. I took a deep breath. I hoped I could be strong enough to leave this place. I was scared, but I knew I had to protect myself from him. 6. The secret. Archie moved closer to Mandy. He put his 2 hands on her shoulders. His breath was warm on her skin. He began to kiss her neck slowly. Mandy felt heavy fear inside her chest. She moved quickly. She pushed his chest with both her hands. "Archie, stop," she said very clearly. "Please stop this. I do not want this to happen." Her voice was shaking because she was so nervous. Archie did not look angry. He looked like a man who always got what he wanted. He pulled Mandy closer to him again. He ignored her words. "Do not be shy, Mandy," he said. He smiled a strange, heavy smile. He tried to make her agree. "Listen to me," he said. "If you stay here tonight, I will give you a promotion. You will become a manager very soon. I will give you more money than anyone else." Mandy knew she had to stop him completely. She looked straight into his eyes. She felt a need to tell him the truth. She had a secret that she never told anyone. She took a deep breath. "No," Mandy said. This time her voice was loud and strong. "I cannot do this. I am a virgin." Archie stopped moving completely. He looked surprised. Mandy thought, "Good, he will let me go now." She waited for him to step away. But Archie did not step away. His eyes did not look surprised anymore. They looked excited. They started to shine brightly. He seemed much more interested than before. He moved his mouth close to her ear. "A virgin," he whispered. His voice was low and deep. "That is very rare today. This makes you so special, Mandy. I want you even more now." Mandy felt sick. This was the worst reaction she could imagine. She felt like he was buying a rare object, not talking to a person. Her secret did not stop him. It only made his desires stronger. I looked around the room. The luxury items seemed cold now. The soft music felt like a trick. I realized that my job, my future, and my safety were all in danger right now. I had to be brave. She felt trapped inside his expensive, quiet apartment. She knew she had to find a way to escape this rich man and his terrible secret game. 7. The slap. Archie moved closer to me again. He tried to kiss me on the lips. I felt a strong fire rise up inside me. I was not a thing he could buy. I was not a prize for his money. I felt very angry because he did not respect me. He had power, but that did not give him the right to touch me. I raised my hand very fast. I did not stop to think. My hand moved and hit his face hard. Slap. The sound was loud in the quiet, expensive room. Archie stopped immediately. He stepped back, 3 steps away from me. He put his hand quickly on his cheek where I hit him. He looked completely shocked. For a few seconds, his eyes were wide. He looked like a child who had been caught doing something wrong. Then the shock left his face. His expression changed. He looked sad now. He looked old and tired. The expensive blue suit did not hide the sadness on his face. He stood in the middle of the luxury apartment, but he looked small and alone. "I am sorry, Mandy," he said. His voice was quiet and weak. "I am truly sorry for my actions." I stood still and watched him. My chest moved fast because I was breathing hard. I was ready to run away, but I waited to hear what he would say next. He began again. He looked down at the soft carpet. "I am very lonely. Do you understand that? I have everything I need. I have money, great power, and this big company. But I have no one in my life." He looked back up at me. I liked you from the first day you came to the office. You are young and fresh. I thought maybe you could like me too. I do not know how to show people I care about them. I only know how to buy things for them. He walked slowly toward a large window. He looked out at the city lights far below. I wanted real love, Mandy. I wanted someone who was real. I watched him stand there. The anger that burned inside me started to cool down. It was replaced by a strange new feeling. I felt pity for this man. He was very rich, but he was broken inside. He was 55 years old and alone in his huge house. He tried to buy affection because he did not know how to earn it with true feeling. I thought about the gold bracelet he gave me earlier. It was a gift, but it was also a payment for something he wanted. I stood there for a long time. The room was silent again, except for my quick breathing. I looked at the powerful CEO Archie, who was now just a sad, lonely man standing by the window. I felt a strange connection to his pain. He was not just a bad boss. He was someone who needed help, even if he hurt people trying to find it. I looked at his silver hair and his sad face. My mind felt heavy with this sudden pity for the broken rich man. 8. Walking away. Archie tried to hold me again. The moment of pity I felt for him went away quickly. I saw his true face now. He did not care about my feelings at all. He only wanted to control me. He did not respect me as a person, only as a thing he wanted to own. I realized that my fear of losing the job was less important than losing myself. I grabbed my small bag from the sofa. I walked quickly toward the door of his luxury apartment. Archie tried to speak, but I stopped him. I turned back one last time. I quit! I shouted loudly. My voice was strong. Even though my heart was beating fast, I did not wait for his answer. I pulled the heavy door open. I ran down the long hallway. I ran past the quiet elevator. I ran down the stairs instead. I ran down many flights of stairs until I reached the ground floor. I pushed the main door open and stepped outside. The air was cool and fresh. It felt good on my skin. It was late, and the city streets were quiet. I looked back at the tall building. I did not have a job anymore. I had lost my first real job. I had no money saved yet. This was a serious problem for me. But I did not feel sad. I felt a different emotion. I felt proud. I kept walking down the street. I walked with my head held high. I did not let a rich, powerful man treat me badly. I kept my dignity. That was more important than any salary or promotion. I was free now. I was free from his heavy attention and his secret games. I knew the next few months would be hard. I needed to look for a new job soon. But tonight, I was just happy. I was proud of the choice I made. I walked until I found a bus stop and waited for the first bus home. The cold air reminded me that I was safe and alone. I had saved myself.